Welcome back to my channel. Today we explore the value of specific coins, the top 4 most valuable Abraham Lincoln wheat pennies. So let's get started. First up, the 1911 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark found in normal, dirty, circulated condition. And many people are surprised to learn that even a very old penny that looks worn and dirty can still hold collector value today. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series started in 1909, and it was the first United States coin to feature a real historical person on the front, which was Abraham Lincoln. The design was created to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and by 1911, the design was still very new and highly respected by the public. The 1911 Lincoln Wheat Penny without mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint because coins made there did not carry a mint mark at that time. These coins were produced in very large numbers, but age and condition play a huge role in determining value today. On the front of the coin, you will see Abraham Lincoln facing right with the words, "In God We Trust" along the top and "Liberty" on the left side, and the date 1911 on the right side. The design is simple but powerful, and even on dirty coins, the main features are often still visible. On the back of the coin, you will see 2 wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America with the motto E pluribus unum across the top. This wheat design is the reason collectors call these coins wheat pennies. A normal dirty condition coin usually means the penny has dark color, heavy wear, smooth areas, and surface dirt from decades of circulation. This type of condition is very common for a 1911 penny because most were heavily used in everyday transactions for many years. Even though the coin may not look attractive to the average person, collectors still value it because of its age and historical importance. A penny that is more than 100 years old always attracts interest, especially from new collectors building a date set. In today's market, a 1911 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in normal, dirty, circulated condition is generally valued around $1 to $3, depending on how much detail is still visible. If the date is clear and Lincoln's portrait is recognizable, it will usually fall in this range. If the coin has slightly better detail with visible wheat lines on the reverse and stronger lettering on the front, the value can rise to around $4 to $6, even if the coin still looks dark and dirty. Heavily worn coins, where the date is weak or parts of the design are nearly smooth, may still be worth around $1 simply because of the age and demand from collectors who need the date for their collection. It is important to understand that cleaning this coin does not increase its value. In fact, cleaning usually lowers the value because collectors prefer original surfaces, even if they are dirty. Natural aging is always better than a cleaned appearance. Many people find these pennies in old jars, inherited collections, or mixed lots, and do not realize they have value because they look common. But when you consider the history behind the coin, it becomes much more meaningful. This penny was used during a time when automobiles were becoming popular and the world was changing quickly, and it passed through countless hands over the decades, which adds to its story. For collectors, the 1911 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark represents an early piece of the Lincoln series and a tangible connection to the early 20th century. Even in dirty condition, it remains collectible and desirable. So, if you have a 1911 wheat penny in your collection, do not ignore it just because it looks worn and dark. It still carries value, history, and collector demand in today's market, and it's a great reminder that age alone can make even a simple penny special. Next up, the Abraham Lincoln wheat penny from the year 1945 with the S mint mark. This coin belongs to the famous wheat cent series that was produced from 1909 to 1958, and it remains a favorite among collectors because of its history, design, and connection to a very important period in world history. The 1945 Lincoln wheat penny was minted just after the end of World War II, a time when the United States was moving from a wartime economy back to normal civilian life. This gives the 1945 penny a special place in history because it represents peace, recovery, and a new beginning after years of conflict. Many collectors enjoy owning coins from this era because they feel a strong historical connection when holding them. The obverse side of the coin features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which was designed by Victor David Brenner. This was the first time a real person appeared on a regular circulating United States coin. Lincoln was chosen to honor the 100th anniversary of his birth, and his image remained on the penny for decades, making it one of the most recognized coin designs in the world. On the 1945 penny, Lincoln's portrait is simple, strong, and dignified, showing him facing right with the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date clearly visible. The reverse side of the 1945 wheat penny shows two wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America with the motto E pluribus unum at the top. The wheat ears symbolize prosperity, growth, and the agricultural strength of the nation. This reverse design is why these coins are commonly called wheat pennies, and it is one of the most loved classic coin designs ever used on American coinage. The S mint mark on this coin indicates that it was produced at the San Francisco Mint during 1945. The San Francisco Mint generally produced fewer coins compared to the Philadelphia Mint, which often makes S mint mark coins more desirable to collectors. In 1945, millions of pennies were still produced, but the S-Fran issue remains slightly scarcer, especially in well-preserved condition. The composition of the 1945 wheat penny is mostly copper, because during World War II, the United States briefly changed the penny composition to steel in 1943 to save copper for the war effort. By 1944 and 1945, the mint returned to a copper-based alloy made from recycled shell casings. This adds another layer of historical interest because the metal itself has a connection to the war and its aftermath. When we talk about condition, the good condition grade is an important level for collectors. A 1945 S wheat penny in good condition shows heavy wear, but the main details are still visible. Lincoln's portrait will be worn and flat in areas, but the outline remains clear. The date and mint mark are readable, and the wheat ears on the reverse are visible, though worn. This condition is very common for coins that circulated for many years, and it appeals to collectors who enjoy affordable historical coins. Now let's discuss value. In today's market, a 1945 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with S mint mark in good condition generally has a value ranging from around $1 to $3, depending on eye appeal, color, and overall wear. Coins with even wear and a pleasing brown copper tone tend to be more desirable than coins that are heavily damaged, bent, or corroded. While this coin is not extremely rare, it is still considered valuable compared to face value, and it is an important piece for completing a wheat penny collection. The value can also increase slightly if the coin has strong detail for the grade, or if it has a smooth, natural surface without major scratches or stains. Collectors often look for originality and honest wear rather than cleaned or altered coins, so keeping the coin in its natural state is very important for maintaining its value. Many people find wheat pennies like the 1945 S in old collection jars or inherited coin groups, and they're often surprised to learn that even common dates can have value beyond 1 cent. This is why checking the date and mint mark is always a good idea, especially for older pennies with wheat ears on the back. The collector demand for wheat pennies remains strong because they are affordable, historic, and easy to recognize. Beginners often start with wheat cents because they offer a wide range of dates, mint marks, and values, from very common to extremely rare. The 1945 S penny fits nicely into this category as a solid mid-range collectible that represents history rather than extreme rarity. To preserve a 1945 S wheat penny, it's best to avoid cleaning it. Cleaning can damage the surface and reduce its value. Instead, store the coin in a dry place, preferably in a protective holder away from moisture and extreme temperatures. Even coins in good condition can be enjoyed for their history and appearance when properly cared for. In conclusion, the most valuable aspect of the 1945 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with S mint mark in good condition is its historical significance, classic design, and steady collector demand. While it may not be worth hundreds of dollars, it still holds real value in today's market and remains a meaningful collectible for anyone interested in American coins, history, and the legacy of Abraham Lincoln. If you enjoy learning about old coins and their stories, this wheat penny is a perfect example of how a small piece of copper can carry a big piece of history. Next up, the Abraham Lincoln wheat penny from 1923 without a mint mark is one of those classic United States coins that many collectors search for because it represents a calm period in American coin history after the First World War and before the great economic changes of the late 1920s. This coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it carries no mint mark, and millions were made for everyday use. Yet finding one today in fine condition with clear details still attracts strong interest from collectors and history lovers alike. In 1923, the Lincoln wheat penny design was already well known across the country. The obverse shows Abraham Lincoln facing right, a design created by Victor David Brenner to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. His portrait is simple yet powerful, and even in fine condition you can clearly see Lincoln hair details, cheek lines, and jaw shape. The words Liberty and the date 1923 are visible and readable, though some light wear is expected in a fine-grade coin. On the reverse of the coin, the famous wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, along with the motto E pluribus unum. In fine condition, the wheat ears are still bold, though some of the fine lines inside the stalks may be lightly worn. This balanced wear is what defines a fine-grade coin. It shows honest circulation while still keeping strong design clarity, which many collectors actually prefer over heavily worn pieces. The 1923 wheat penny without a mint mark is not the rarest date in the series, but its value comes from condition, originality, and collector demand. During this time, pennies were heavily used in daily transactions, so many surviving examples today are worn smooth or damaged. Coins that avoided harsh cleaning, deep scratches, or corrosion are far more desirable. A natural brown color with even wear is especially attractive in the current market. In today's market, a 1923 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition usually carries a value higher than face value by a noticeable margin. Depending on overall eye appeal, color, and surface quality, collectors commonly pay between $15 and $35 for a solid fine example. Coins with sharper details, stronger color, or exceptional originality can sometimes bring slightly higher prices, especially when demand is strong. Collectors value this coin not only for its price, but for its place in American history. It comes from an era when the penny was an important part of daily life, buying newspapers, candy, and small household items. Holding a 1923 wheat penny connects collectors to that time and to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, whose image still appears on United States coins today. Another reason this coin remains popular is that it fits well into many collections. It is an essential date for anyone building a complete Lincoln wheat set, and it's also affordable compared to key dates like 1909 SVDB or 1914 D. This makes the 1923 no mint mark penny a perfect balance of history, value, and accessibility. When evaluating a fine condition example, collectors look closely at the word Liberty, the date, and Lincoln hair and coat lines. On the reverse, they check the wheat ears and lettering for clarity. Coins with smooth, even wear and no major marks are always preferred. Proper storage over the years helps preserve the coin's natural surfaces, which adds to its appeal in today's auction and private sale market. In conclusion, the most valuable Abraham Lincoln wheat penny from 1923 without a mint mark in fine condition is a strong and respected collectible. It offers historical importance, classic design, and steady market value. In today's market, it stands as a reminder that even common circulation coins can become meaningful and valuable treasures when preserved with care and appreciated for their story. Next up, the Abraham Lincoln wheat penny from the year 1944 without mint mark in fine condition. This coin is special because it was made during a very important time in history when the world was coming out of the Second World War and the United States Mint was changing how pennies were produced. Collectors all over the world search for this coin because it connects history, rarity, condition, and value in a very unique way. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and these coins were made using copper that was recovered from recycled wartime materials after steel pennies were used in the previous year. This return to copper makes the 1944 penny important because it represents a shift back to normal production after wartime shortages. Many people do not realize how meaningful this change was, and that is one reason collectors respect this coin so much. The design of the coin shows Abraham Lincoln on the front with strong details visible in fine condition. You can clearly see Lincoln facial features, his hair outline, and the shape of his coat. Even though the coin has circulated, the main details are still easy to recognize.
On the back, you see 2 wheat years framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. In fine condition, the wheat lines are still visible, though slightly worn, and this balanced wear is exactly what many collectors like because it shows age without destroying beauty. What makes the 1944 wheat penny without mint mark valuable is not just its age, but also collector demand. Millions were made, but many were lost, damaged, or heavily worn over time. Finding one today in fine condition is not as easy as people think, especially with clean surfaces and natural color. Coins that avoided corrosion or heavy scratches are much harder to find, which increases their value in today's market. Another important factor is that 1944 pennies are often confused with rare error versions. Collectors always check the weight and metal because a very small number were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets from the previous year. Those steel versions are extremely rare and worth very large amounts, but even the normal copper version in fine condition still holds strong value and steady demand among collectors. In today's market, a 1944 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in fine condition generally sells for several dollars, and in some cases higher, depending on eye appeal, color, and overall preservation. Coins with smooth surfaces, even wear, and original tone can bring prices in the range of $5 to $20, and sometimes more when demand is strong. Prices can change based on market interest, but this coin continues to be a reliable collectible for beginners and advanced collectors. If you have a 1944 wheat penny without mint mark, it's important to store it properly. Keep it in a dry, safe place away from moisture and do not clean it. Cleaning can lower the value and damage the original surface, which collectors care about. Natural wear is always better than artificial shine. This coin continues to gain attention as more people become interested in classic American coins, and as older collections disappear into private hands, demand remains strong. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in fine condition is a perfect example of how history and value come together in one small coin and why collectors will continue to search for it for many years to come. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting content. See you next time. Happy collecting!